Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Ultima 6, The False Prophet. In our last episode, we had started a quest of sorts. The Avatar and his companions were looking for the other half of a silver tablet that was supposedly in the possession of a band of gypsies that we had met previously in the game. We returned to some prior locations that the gypsies had been and were unable to find them. So we're going to go ahead and look in some other locations, go from town to town looking to see if we can find them. These gypsies, having a tendency to wander all over Britannia, bringing their goods and shows to the various towns. So let's go ahead and start with the town of Trinsic. We're going to see if we can find them there. We're going to go ahead and use the Orb of the Moons. And if you remember, to get to the town of Trinsic, we place the Orb of the Moons 2 steps to the south of the Avatar. It's nighttime, so we'll have to be careful as we walk here. Now, fortunately, unlike in the previous game, Ultima 5, the city gates, if you notice where the portcullis might normally be here in this doorway, are not closed at night. In the previous game, if you came to towns at night, you were out of luck and you had to wait till the morning a lot of times. Ah, look here! There's Blaine and Kador the dog. The gypsies are here. Fantastic. Now we need to find the king of the gypsies. If you remember Zultan, and I believe there he is. Let's speak to him. You see a lively soul of a gypsy with a bit of a wild look to him. Huzzah! I am still Zultan, king of the gypsies. Let's go ahead and ask him about that silver tablet. I'd be glad to help you out, but 'tis a hard life sometimes, being a gypsy. You'd be willing to pay 10 gold for the information, would you? Sure. When the world's at stake, no cost is too high. Some Gorgio called Captain John brought us the silver tablet and paid us to take it to the Lyceum. A Gorgio. While we were on the way there, we were ambushed by Captain Hawkins and his crew. The tablet was broken in 2 during the scuffle. The pirates got away with the bigger half. That explains why Mariah only had half of the tablet. Hawkins took my finest earring as well. I spit on his mother's grave. Most likely they went to Buccaneer's den with their loot. We took the corner of the tablet that they missed to the Lyceum and sold it to Mariah. Oh, okay. Let's ask him about Mariah. She knows how to be generous to poor wandering gypsies. You should follow her example. And they went to the Lyceum. It's on the same island as Moonglow. Moonglow, it's on the same island as Lyceum. Alright, so he said that they got the tablet from Captain John. Captain John, I talked to him when he gave us the silver tablet from Mariah. He's madder than a gremlin, claims that he's been living with the gargoyles. He talks as if there's nothing evil about them. He said the tablet had something to do with translating. Interesting. I wonder if he knows anything about the gargoyles. Nope. He mentioned Gorgios. Let's ask him what that means. Either you're a Gorgio or my name's not Zultan. I guess guilty as charged. So the tablet was stolen by Hawkins. He's the lowest scum I ever met. And that he thinks they would have taken it to Buccaneer's den. It's no place for an honest soul like you. But if you're determined to go, I hear it's on an island, due east of Paws. We pass Paws often in our travels. Tanith likes to go drinking there. There are no women like gypsy women. All right. Farewell, my fellow gypsies and I will dance to your health and good fortune. All right, so that's troubling. Looks like the tablet is not in the possession of the gypsies. It was stolen by pirates and possibly taken to Buccaneer's den. Buccaneer's den, for those of you who've played previous games will remember, is the city, pretty much, of the pirates. It's on an island out in the middle of the ocean, and as Zultan said, it's due east of the town of Paws. If we have a ship, we can get there. Unfortunately, our ship is back in the town of Britain, so let's go ahead and use our Orb of the Moons again. And if you remember, the town of Britain is located, I believe it's 2 spaces directly to the north of the Avatar. Actually, we'll go ahead and put it 1 space to the north of the Avatar to go directly to Lord British's throne room. There we go. Because the castle's a little bit closer to where the docks are, where our ship is, than the Britain Moon Gate. But before we go on our ship, let's go ahead and get a little bit out of the ways of town here and see if it'll allow us to rest so we can get to daytime. We're a little bit too close to town still. Let's try over around this way if it lets us. No, we're still too close to town, unfortunately. I believe it's too late at night for us to go to the inn. Let's see if it's still open. Ah, the innkeeper is still there. Let's go ahead and ask him for a room for the night. That'll get us through to morning. There we go. Alright, so our next step is to head out to the ocean, to head out to sea, and go to try to find these pirates who stole the tablet we need. So let's go ahead and get in our ship here. Now, if again, as I always say, if you have a map, you can follow along or Google Ultima 6 map. We're looking for the town of Buccaneer's Den. Now, Buccaneer's Den, according to the map, is located at approximately 30 degrees east of Lord British's castle and 30 degrees south of Lord British's castle. That's right about the center of the island. The docks are going to be a little bit to the east of that. So we're looking for compass heading, or sorry, sextant heading 30-30. So let's go ahead and head out there. Go ahead and use our sextant just to get an idea of where we are. We're at 11-7. Now, before we go to the island of Buccaneer's Den, while we have our ship, it might be in our best interest to go ahead and free one more shrine. We just got the rune and the mantra of honesty, from the town of Moonglow, so let's go ahead and free the Shrine of Honesty while we're here. After going to all that trouble and robbing the graves to go ahead and get that rune, it seems like a shame not to go ahead and free that shrine. And since it's one of the shrines based directly on principles, directly on the principle of truth, and it is one of the ones that'll directly raise the stat of intelligence, I think it'll come in handy having that shrine freed. Let's go ahead and check our compass heading here. We are now at 11 degrees south, 38 degrees east. Moonglow is all the way on almost 80 degrees east, so we got a little bit of ways to go still. If we keep going, we should run smack dab into the Verity Isles. We're now 53 east, so we're getting there. Once we free the shrine, we'll go ahead and head back south, and we'll head to Buccaneer's Den. .69 degrees east. Almost there. Oh, there's an island. Okay. So, if you have your map, if you follow along, the island curves around to the north, and then there's another island just to the north of the one that Moonglow is located on. And on that island is a symbol for the shrine. So, let's hang on a moment here. We've got to go around this stuff here. There's the water wheel outside of Zhao's house, and Zhao lives on the northern end of that island that Moonglow's on. So we are almost there. We should be there should be another island just to the north of this one. And that looks like it. The shrine is on the east side of the island. There's a little inlet leading inwards. But it darts down to the south a little bit. The islands kind of form a little interlocking shape here, so we got to go around and then up. It makes sense if you look on the map. Alright, let's see if we can find a good place to dock, and then we'll head into battle and try to free this shrine. Let's see, we're 10 degrees north, 79 east. The shrine is located between 10 and 20 degrees north, a little bit closer to 10, so we are almost on top of that shrine. So let's look for a little flat area we can go ahead and... Ah! You see that pillar? That will be part of the shrine. So let's go ahead and get out of our boat. And it's off to battle. Let's make sure everybody is properly equipped. Everybody's got their weapons. Yolo has 64 crossbow bolts. Sherry has a boomerang. Here we go. And it looks like there's no one there. That was a little anticlimactic, wasn't it? Well, let's quickly free it while we can. So let's look here. There's the Rune of Honesty. Let's go ahead and use the rune. And if you remember, the rune, the mantra of honesty is And the shrine is freed. Let's quickly grab that moonstone, and we've done it. Let's go ahead and talk to the shrine. They always have interesting things to learn about the different virtues. Talk, Shrine of Honesty. You see the altar of honesty. As you kneel before the altar, a mystical voice sounds in your head. Thy deeds serve as an example to all. Oh, hang on. Let's not meditate just yet. I want to look at our statistics and see if anybody could really use more intelligence. The Avatar certainly could use more, because that will help with spell casting, and we're gonna, as our levels increase, we're gonna want to be able to cast more and more powerful spells. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if the Avatar's ready for a level up. He can go ahead and get a little bit better at spell casting. Let's go ahead and meditate, attentive, and we'll speak the mantra of honesty, and we'll learn a little bit more about the virtue. Okay, the shrine says, I can always find someone to say they sympathize if I wear my heart out on my sleeve, but I don't want some pretty face to tell me pretty lies. All I want is someone to believe. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone... Oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong shrine. Wrong honesty. I don't know what I was thinking. It says, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. There is naught else for you to learn here and now. Got to apologize for that little digression there. I'm not sure what happened. I must have been thinking about another video game. Anyway, back to our journey. So we freed the Shrine of Honesty, and we now have another moonstone in our possession. And we need to go ahead and head down here. Now that we've freed that shrine, let's go ahead and head back to Buccaneer. Excuse me, not back to. For the first time, let's go ahead and find Buccaneer's Den and speak to these pirates. We got to find a Captain Hawkins, who supposedly stole this silver tablet. Hopefully, these pirates are willing to listen to reason, or will sell us the tablet, or hopefully we don't have to fight them. That would be, well, we fought in worse things than pirates, so. Fortunately, we may have gotten stuck here. We may have to go all the way around the island. I'm trying to find a way back between the two islands here. Excuse me. think this is the way. Oh, this might not be it quite. We have to find the little inlet that leads between the two islands. The island that Moonglow is located on, and then the island that the shrine is on. And I believe that was it. There we go. So we are looking for 30 degrees east, 30 degrees south. Okay, we're at 61 east. We're going to have to head quite a bit further west to get there. .54 east. And also we have to head somewhat south here. Now, luckily, like I said, we have this sextant. Before, when we were looking for Moonglow, you know, following the coast goddess there, but trying to find a place like Buccaneer's Den, sure, you know, Zultan told us it's due east of Pause, but even so, we're looking for an island in the middle of the ocean, and not having the sextant would have made this a lot harder. A lot more hit or miss, especially with how small the game screen is, and you can't see very far in any direction. Alright, 23 south. We're almost far enough south, and then we need to head west. Alright, let's start heading west a little bit here. Alright, there we go. And there's some shallower water, and it looks like we found an island. Let's look for the docks and go ahead and start looking for people to talk to here. We made it! Alright, let's go ahead and look around. Welcome to Buccaneer's Den, town of the pirates. You see a strong, sinewy woman with a hard look about her. Welcome, welcome, she slaps you heartily on the back. And her name is Fentrissa. F-E-N-T-R? A strong name, as strong as the sea. She looks into the distance. A beautiful thing, but a jealous man he is. Many call her a female. If you ask me, men are much more unpredictable. And what do? I sell ships and skiffs. Okay, if we're in need of another ship, she's a shipwright for this town. Have a good one, she bows, hands on her hips. Let's look down here. Lots of people's houses. This looks like it might be an armory of some sort. You see a scarred man with a gap-toothed grin and large callous hands. Hello, hello. What'll it be? His name is Enric. Enric the Hammer's what I'm known as round here. Heinrich. Oops. Heinrich. I prefers Hammer. Hammer? They call me that 'cause I got a good left. Keep it up and I'll show ya, he growls. Friendly, chap. What's your job, Hammer? And my mutter said I was thick. You can buys arms from me, or sell me your used stuff. Oh, what's he got to sell? Hey, what's it look like? I'm a mind reader? Do you want arms or armor? Alright, so he sells... Well, if we ever need throwing axes, those are useful ranged weapons. Not a lot else I'd be interested in right now, but let's see if he was willing to buy from us. Yes, Dupre, if you remember, Dupre was carrying that extra leather armor. Unfortunately, it looks like we've... Okay. Let's see what else anybody has to sell. We don't want to sell our oil flasks. And then sherry... No. Okay, well, he bought our two pairs of leather armor that Dupre was holding. Looks like there's an inn here. Some rooms in them. Ah, and what looks like a tavern. Tavern and inn in the same building. Looks like this would be a place to talk to for some information. There's Fentrissa again. Smell that salt air, friend. Brings a tear to me eye. Alright, who's this gentleman? You see an uncomfortable-looking man sitting behind a cup of tea. Hello. His gaze darts from side to side, lingering longingly on the mugs of ale his fellow patrons are gulping down heartily. What's your name? He looks at you uneasily. I'm Captain Elad. Not that it's any business of yours. Captain, you say? So he must be a sailor. When you say captain, all the pirates at the table turn to you expectantly. When they realize you weren't talking to them, they return to their business. What's your job, Elad? I was captain of the Theodosa Marie until she sank. Sank, you say? That's unfortunate. Aye. 'Twas a terrible ordeal. We were sailing just off Border March when the whole island started shaking. Must have been one of those earthquakes we've been having. Oh, Border March. That was one of where the lighthouses was, if I remember correctly. A fair-sized island, and now she's gone. Some of them earthquakes have been mighty fierce. Earthquakes. Yes, they started soon after Lord British was rescued from the underworld. I lost my ship to the last one. I'd toast him with you, but this, he gestures disparagingly at his cup, is hardly fitting for such an honor. Well, yes, I remember when we rescued him from the underworld. Surely you've heard tales of the Avatar's bold exploits. It was all anyone was talking around here for weeks. So you lost your ship. The whole island sank beneath the waves. We were caught in the huge whirlpool left in its wake. I was one of the lucky few to swim clear, but my ship's on the bottom of the ocean now, and that's the honest truth. Whirlpool. He shudders, then takes a sip of his tea. I don't like to think about it. Alright, so let's ask him if he knows anything about, Captain Hawkins. Ah, that's not important. Maybe he knows about that Captain John. Captain John, that fool. He was captured by gargoyles. I hear they dragged him down into Hythloth, and nobody's seen hide nor hair of him since. Leona raises an eyebrow. I'm guessing Leona's one of the other people at the table. Is that so? I could tell a different tale. We'll have to talk to Leona then. So that's now two different stories we've heard about Captain John. One person saying he was living with the gargoyles and says they're not evil. Another one saying he was captured by them and dragged into the dungeon Hythloth. All right, well that's interesting. Let's talk to that Leona person. I wonder if he knows anything about virtue. The virtues. I could use more virtue in me life. I've just given up drinking to start with. Drinking? I thought you were drinking. Aye, 'tis quite a temptation. Indeed. He takes another big gulp of tea. Oh, I see. He's drinking tea. Well, good for him. Do you know anything about any runes? I wish I had one of them. I bet I could sell it for a pretty penny. That's not really what they're for. Know anything about mantras? You don't hear much about the virtues in a pirate town. Alright, well let's go talk... Wait, before you go, I was wondering, do you know the mantra of honesty? Well, we do. We just learned it. I've been trying to find out what it is so I can better myself. I'll give you 5 gold if you tell me. Is it a deal? Sure, why not? Okay, what is it? Well, as we just learned, it's Thank you. Now my meditations will succeed at last. Well, hopefully he's sincere about that. Let's go ahead and talk to this woman who it said was Leona. You see a smartly dressed woman. Her smile has a delightful subtlety to it. Oh, you must be Attentive, the famous Avatar. 'Tis an honor to meet thee. And your name was Leona, I heard. Yep, my name is Leona. What do you do? I used to captain my own ship. But I fell on hard times, and now I sail with Leodin on the Hind. On the Hind. A fine old vessel, the Golden Hind. Alas, I have little to do while she's being repaired. And you said something about a ship? Oh, she's going to say the same thing there. Okay. It's being repaired. Could I join your party, perhaps? Not right now, but so she's somebody who could join us. Okay, I guess I'll just stay here for now. So you sail with Leodin? There's none I'd rather ship out with. And you said you were captain of your own ship. When you say captain, all the pirates at the table turn to you expectantly. So anytime we're going to say the word captain, everyone's going to think we're talking about them. So, okay, you had a different story about Captain John. Captain John is a madman. He went down in Hythloth seeking a way to the other side of the world. Said he was going to kill as many gargoyles as he could before they got him. That's not true, says Captain Fox. I can tell you what really happened. Interesting. Please, let's not talk about them. Okay, we're going to have to talk to this Captain Fox then and find out what's going on. And also, though, Leona looks like she's a warrior who could join our party if we need another member. So we'll keep her in mind. Talk to you later. Okay, let's see. This looks like that Captain Fox. Okay. Alright, Mr. Captain Fox. You see a handsome gentleman, immaculately dressed. Hello, my lord. Your company is welcome. And you're Captain Fox, I presume? I'm Captain Fox of the Silken Stag. And once again, the same answer when we say the word captain. He's the captain of the Silken Stag. We just stopped off here for some supplies and a drink or two. Well, maybe 3 wouldn't hurt. Alright, so tell me about Captain John, sir. Captain John, that lunatic? I hear he went underground, seeking the gargoyles, but he fled from the first one he encountered. Nobody knows where he is now. Well, that's not what I heard, says Leodin. So another version of the story, it looks like. He went underground? Under the earth is no place for a seafaring man to be. Tough creatures. My crew and I steer well clear of them. And I never actually asked what his job was. I sail the wide, wide sea to the edges of the world and back again. Of course, I'm also known for the paintings I create in my spare time. Paintings? There are a few of them around here. Go see for yourself. And you sail to the edge of the world. Don't go too far, matey. You'll fall off. He laughs a hearty laugh and takes a swig of ale. Alright, so let's talk to Leodin and get the other version of the story. That would be this person right here. You see a woman with a slightly sea-worn look, but delicate hands. A good afternoon to you, my lord. Come, have a seat and talk with us a while. I'm guessing you're Leodin? I'm Captain Leodin. Alright, I'm not falling for it this time. I'm not saying, captain. But what is your job, Captain Leodin? I'm captain of the Golden Hind. She's the finest ship I've ever had the pleasure of sailing across the briny deep. Let's ask her about the Hind. Life on the sea is the only life for me. Alas, the Hind needs serious repairs right now. Yes, I must keep myself occupied on land meantime. Perhaps I could join thy party for a time. Oh, okay. Looks like we could take the two of these, the two friends, Leona and Leodin. We'll ask in a moment. And she said life on the sea is the only life for her. Ah, the sea. 'Tis as vast as 'tis as vast as 1,000 dreams. Indeed. Alright, so you gotta tell me your version of the Captain John story. That scalawag? He went down to the other side of the world to join up with the gargoyles, the dirty traitor. The tea drinker interrupts. No, no, you've got it all wrong. I can tell you the truth about Captain John. So she says he's joining with the gargoyles. Vile creatures they are. One of them attacked my ship once. He flew off with a ham before anyone could stop him. A ham? Yes, he stole my ham and I dined on biscuits that night. That's right. Okay then, that's weird. So tell me about your friends with Leona. Aye, Leona is the best first mate I've ever had. Leona blushes and looks away embarrassed. Comes from being a captain once herself, you know. So there's a lot of conflicting information about this Captain John. We're going to have to find this guy and talk to him, but he knows a lot about the gargoyles, or he's joined the gargoyles, or he's fighting the gargoyles. We need to talk to him, though, because he probably has information that's useful. Drop by again next time you're in town. So I wanted to make a small point. This gentleman here, Elad, is actually one of the again, someone based on a real life person. He's based on Dale Flatt, who is a real life friend of Richard Garriott, who is actually the caretaker of his properties in Austin, Texas. So that's another real life person that Richard Garriott knows and he put in the game. Let's talk to this gentleman here. You see an uneasy looking bard. Oh, hello. Can I help you with something? What's your name? They call me Yodeling Johann. Yodeling Johann. Let's go ahead and ask him what yodeling means. I'd better not. I've still got bruises from the last time I tried yodeling around here. And what is his job? I sing songs for the sailors here. But I'm looking for a chance to move to another town. Pirates, you say? Did I say pirates? I didn't say that. He looks around nervously. Nobody but fine, honest sailors around here. He lowers his voice. By the way, if you should happen to run across Bon, or Ybarra, or Hawkins, don't tell them I'm here. Hawkins? We're looking for Hawkins. Who's he? Never heard of him. What about Bon? What about Ybarra? Gonna be a little bit, reticent, are you? Let's ask about your songs. Oh, a loon with a spoon sang a song of ballooning, and the man in the moon said it was quite a tune. Now on one fine day in June, a young man went ballooning. Did he rise up to glory or fall to his doom? Just one thing will I say of the sport of ballooning. On the ground will I stay, while the ground still has room. Ballooning? Oh, that's just some nonsense that gave me an idea for a song. I read about it in a book in the Lyceum. Ask a librarian there for help. Well, if I remember the librarian mentioned a book about ballooning, so we should maybe look up that book at some point. They're fine, hardy fellows, one and all. So he knows something about Captain Hawkins, but he's not really willing to talk about it. Excuse me. And I should point out that once again, this gentleman, Johann, is based on a real person. One of the producers of the Worlds of Ultima games, specifically the Savage Empire game, was also placed into this game as a non-player character. You see a giant of a man with a solemn stare. Halo to you. What's your name, sir? Petrov. Petrov. Da, Petrov. What's your job? I am keeping the inn here at King's Ransom. 30 gold for you to stay and have a meal, good? Not right now. What? Maybe you don't like my inn. Well, maybe I don't like you either. Well, that escalated quickly. Goodbye. Da, goodbye and good riddance. And who's this gentleman? You see a shifty-eyed character. He carries a cane and walks with a slight limp. He takes your measure, looking you over from head to toe. What do you want? Just your name, sir. Who wants to know? I'm attentive. Fine, attentive, if that's what your name really is. You can call me Homer. Okay, Homer, what's your job? I once sailed on the ship called Empire under Captain Hawkins. Ah, okay. It was wrecked off the Cape, southwest of here, not too far from Serpent's Hold. And you sailed with Hawkins. His eyes light up with hatred. That heartless bastard! He was killed by his own men, and it was no worse than he deserved. He hesitates, then adds quickly, Of course, I had nothing to do with it. Okay. Do you know anything about that tablet? He regards you warily. Who sent you? No one, really. I mean, except for Zultan. I see. He screws his face up into an even more suspicious expression than before. Why do you want to know about it anyway? Well, I want to translate the gargoyles. You're not a member of the guild. I don't have to tell you anything. The guild? Go ask Budo, and you didn't hear that from me, understand? Okay, we'll go ask Budo, I guess. So let's ask him about his name, Homer. Well, get on with it. Can't say it's been a pleasure. Alright, so we're gonna have to go talk to that person if we can find him. Let's see who this is. You see a charismatic man with an engaging smile. Welcome! He makes a sweeping gesture with his hand. His name is Sean, friend. And what is your job, Sean? I sell ham, ale, mead, wine, and rations. Okay, so he sells food if we need it. I'm glad you stopped by. He gives you a firm handshake. What's back here? So that's pretty much the town of Buccaneer's Den. But we were told to go find someone named Budo. Oh, we can't go behind that building. However, if you notice, this is one thing when you're playing Ultima 6. You have to be very careful. If you look at the wall right up here, notice it's different than the way these other walls are designed. Look how the bricks are. There's this little 2 lines. Mouse pointer here. See these 2 lines here? Let's go ahead and move this cauldron out of the way here. And let's look at the wall. You find a secret door. Oh, here's another building. It's locked. YOLO, you're up. And it's unlocked. You see a chubby, jovial merchant. Good afternoon. I bet you've come back to pick up that orrery you ordered. Don't be ridiculous. This is the first time we've ever been in your shop, says Dupre. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have thought you were somebody you aren't. Do you need some supplies? To buy some supplies? Well, sure. What do you have to sell, sir? Which? Torches, oil, lockpicks, gems, backpacks, bags, shovels, or powder kegs? Ah, we've never been able to find anybody who actually sells lockpicks yet, so that's useful. None of them right now. What's your name, sir? Why, it's Budo, I believe. That's what it was last week. Some call me the Den, but I don't think that's my name. The Den? I think someone told me that was Nick's name. This guy doesn't seem too bright. I've never met him myself. What was that about an orrery? I don't know what it is, but I've got one on order. Well, as you remember from our last episode, we talked to one of the mages in Moonglow who was working on an orrery. I'm guessing Budo is helping work on that. However, we also spoke with someone just a moment ago named Homer who said we should ask Budo about the guild. A startling change comes over his features. Suddenly the good-natured bumbler that stood before you has been transformed into a shrewd, sharp, and dangerous-looking man. He leans forward, staring straight into your eyes as he asks, Who sent you? Homer did. Well, were you hoping to join? I wasn't. He leans even closer, transfixing you with his gaze. Then just remember this. I don't take kindly to anyone spreading secrets around. If you were to tell anyone I am involved with the guild, well, let's just say accidents can happen to anyone, even the Avatar. Now get out of my shop. Yikes. We don't want any supplies. Then it must be Thursday, or possibly Tuesday. I never seem to sell anything on Tuesdays. Do you know anything about that tablet? Tablet? It seems to me I knew something about that, but I'm having trouble with my remembering. I think we need to be part of this guild if anyone's going to speak to us. Let's ask him what's going on with this guild. So let's say yes, we're going to join. Alright, maybe you've got what it takes. We'll see. To be a member of the Thieves Guild, you have to get your own belt. Now, we have a limited membership, so there's only so many belts in the world. If you want one of them, you have to retire a member of the guild. Lucky for you, it just happens there's a member we'd like to see retired soon. Her hideout is deep below Britain, in the sewers. You'd best watch out for the rats down there. One last thing. It would be an embarrassment for the guild to have bodies turning up inconveniently. So don't get too violent unless you have to. I'll talk to you when you get back. What have we gotten ourselves into? looks like this gentleman might know something about, Mr. Homer here might know something about what we're looking for. Hawkins apparently is dead. Homer sailed with him and knows something about the tablet, or knows at least something about Hawkins, and seems to be our only lead, but he won't talk to us unless we're a member of the guild, the Thieves Guild. Budo will let us into the Thieves Guild, but we need to get a belt from one of the members who lives underground, under Britain. Alright, well, looks like we do have a path forward. Before we go... Oops, wrong person. Let's have Leona join us. Oh good, I bet we'll meet a lot of interesting men. The Golden Hind won't be repaired for months at the soonest. Traveling with you would likely prove interesting. Would you like me to come along? Very well, this should make a nice change from my usual routine. The more the merrier. We could use some more muscle on our team. They both have hit points of 90. And they are level... They're both level... she's level 3, and so is she. They both have, you know, average strength. She has a little bit more dexterity, and she has more intelligence. She seems to have work with a club, and she has a sword. That'll help with carrying some of the heavy items. We've been running into issues with people carrying more than they can take. Okay, so our next step is obviously to go ahead and try to join the Thieves Guild. And we need to head to Britain for that. So let's go around our island, and we're going to head to Britain. Once again, we'll go ahead and use our sextant. We need to head for 0, 0. And while we're in Britain, we'll go ahead and try to sell off some of these... We're still far too east. We'll go ahead and try to sell off some of these items that we're holding. Yikes, ghosts. Apparently ghosts are pretty resistant to cannonballs. We'll go ahead and get into battle here and we'll get a little bit more experience. Looks like we've had success. Looks like we defeated all the ghosts that were here at this shipwreck. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's really anything that we can get from the shipwreck, but... Let's head back to our ship quickly, because the sun's starting to go down. Okay, we're almost next to British's castle, but just a little bit to the south of it. So we'll keep heading north here. We should run smack into Brittany Bay. And there we are. Now hopefully we can make it to the armorer's shop before he goes to bed for the night. I somehow doubt we're going to make it there, but let's do our best. Looks like he's already gone. What we can do, though, in order to save, we can go to the inn, but the whole point of this is we're trying to make more money so we can afford the reagents and spells that we need. Ooh, let's not walk into swampland here, as I just realized, unfortunately, our newcomers to our party do not yet have swamp boots. However, if you remember in a previous episode, we have picked up more swamp boots along the way, so we'll go ahead and move these to our new party members. Dupre was holding a pair, as was Chamino. Go ahead and take off those boots and put those ones on. We'll move these back to Dupre. And then Leon will do the same. There, now we're safe from poisoning. Now what we need to be careful of is it looks like Leodon doesn't even have any armor, though. One of the things we'll eventually want to do is go ahead and get these people outfitted, but for now, they're just another pair of hands who should be able to help out in our combats. Looks like the sun's coming up, so we'll head back into town real quick. We'll see if we can sell any of these items. There we go. Let's see what we have on hand here. One thing we need to do is this bottom bag here is the reagent bag. So I'm going to move these reagents down into it. The reagents we picked up while we were grave robbing previously. There we go. And Dupre is holding quite a few things. A lot of leather boots and some other weapons. Chamino is also holding quite a few extra weapons. Those seem to be the only people who are. I'm just looking to see if there's anything that could be used by our new party members. Alright, well since Leodon only uses one sword, we'll go ahead and hand that sword to Chamino, and we'll go ahead and hand this two-handed sword to Leodon. Go ahead and wield that. And then Leona has a shield already that can absorb 3 points of damage, and a club that can do 15. Well, this shield, sorry. The sword can also do 15, but it only weighs 1.4. So we'll go ahead and give her the sword, because the sword actually takes up less encumbrance. And this shield here is slightly lighter, but again, absorbs the same amount of damage. So there we go. Now Leona's a little bit better equipped, and the only thing we still need for Leodon is to get her some actual armor. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to the shopkeeper here, and see if he's willing to buy anything. Okay, yes, that extra two-handed sword, we can sell that. I think the iron helm and plate mail and heater shield are his. Yeah, so we're not willing to sell that stuff here from him. Alright, so let's see what Chamino has to sell. Sword and chainmail. Unfortunately, that's his items. Well, he does have one extra sword that he can sell, actually, so let's quickly do that. There we go. Alright, so that pretty much was all that we had right now in terms of what we were willing to sell. We'd like to get rid of some of this other stuff, but nobody's really willing to buy it just yet. We'll go ahead and move this gold to the avatar. And same thing with this gold here. That way we can keep track of how much we actually have. Same thing with Leodon's gold. One other place we can go really quickly, we can jump down to Yolo's bow shop and and sell that extra bow that Dupre is holding. Unfortunately, it looks like Gwyneth isn't here yet. I'm not sure what time she comes into work. We'll pass an hour or two and we'll see what happens here. And then we have one more stop to make before we quit for the day. There she is. So again, just to remind ourselves what we're selling here. Dupre has an extra bow. And that's really all we're willing to sell right now. Yeah, we'll get 15 gold for that. Perfect. Go ahead and move that gold to the avatar. We're ready to go. So the next stop we'd like to make really quickly before we quit. First off, let me go ahead and move this moonstone. Looks like it's the new moonstone. Into the quest bag here. There we go. Before we quit here, we're going to go ahead and travel back to Trinsic one more time. There's the Orb of the Moons, and again, remember, that's 2 steps to the south. We're going to go to the armor shop there. So far, the armor shop at Buccaneer's Den wasn't willing to buy anything we had. Really. And, Britain only bought a few of our things. These seagulls being on the screen really slow the game down a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to this gentleman again. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the blacksmith, not the actual. That was the, wasn't paying attention. That was the blacksmith who makes horseshoes. I was trying to talk to this gentleman. Ah, and unfortunately his shop is closed. He's going to lunch. Ah, alas. We're going to have to wait about an hour or two here. So once again, we'll pass until the sun moves a little bit further across the sky. So you can see the new moon is out. There's Lord Witsaber. He's still not here yet. Unfortunately, all the action on the screen is causing it to take a long time for it to let me pass here. So let's try one more time and see if he's back in his shop. There he is. Okay. Okay, he's willing to buy from Dupre. Unfortunately, those are Dupre's items that he needs. Let's see what he's willing to buy for Chamino. Okay, the mace we can get rid of. That Leona brought. Unfortunately, the main gosh... Oh, the kite shield we can sell. Okay. And Leona... No, we don't want to sell her sword. In fact, we don't want to sell anything that either of them have right now, because that's their items. Okay, well that's some progress right now, so we've at least gotten rid of some of the things that we were holding. We'll go ahead and later and go ahead and organize the items even better, you know, see who's holding what. And, you know, if we come across any other merchants selling arms and armor, maybe we can sell the rest of it off. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and use the Orb of the Moons one last time here. And head back to Lord Bridges' throne room. We'll talk to LB here. Heal ourselves up. One last stop we're going to make here. Now, the person we talked to said that... sorry, when we spoke to Budo, he said that he wanted us to, quote, retire one of the members of the Guild of Thieves by stealing their belt, which would make us a member of the Guild of Thieves, and that person lived in the sewers underneath the town of Britain. Well, here is a ladder leading downwards. And here we are, in the sewers. And that's where we'll pick up next time. In our next episode, we're gonna go exploring the sewers of Britain, trying to find this member of the Guild of Thieves and convince that person to give us their belt, hopefully peacefully, because as Budo said, doing without violence is preferable. Right now, the Avatars and companions are kind of wondering what they've gotten themselves into and if it's even worth it, and if this is even going to help with their quest to find out what's going on with those gargoyles. But we'll learn more about that next time. See you then.